My name's Emma Castle. I'm from creative agency Bright Island, and we've been working with Schwarzkopf Live for, I think, 4 years now.
Yeah.
And Nikki.
And I'm Nikki Vadera. I'm the Marketing and Digital Director at Henkel, of which one of our brands is Schwarzkopf Live.
So today we're going to be talking about why brands need to be bold and brave, and just like our customers, which is certainly what we've been doing with Schwarzkopf over the last couple of years.
So let me talk to you a little bit about the history of Live. Live has actually been around in the UK for quite a long time. This is our 25th year, so a quarter of a century old. And you see here a timeline of kind of the evolution of the brand. You can see from some of the designs of our artwork, you can see from the front of pack shots how our range has developed, how our imagery and creative has developed to where we are today with a range of 50 shades in the market. We've been on quite a creative journey, and that's really what we're here to focus on today. And you'll see all the way there on the left where we started. Now it looks a little bit dated, but at the time, this was quite fresh, this was quite modern. But looking back, it was very functional, it was very focused on the colour of the hair, the model, but nothing really else. There was no real emotion that you could see from our creative. And then we started working with Bright Island around 4 years ago, and you can see here the journey that we've been on.
So we took a phased approach, starting in 2020. Obviously, that was in the year of pandemic. So the new approach was basically to take the brand into a relevant, relatable, and authentic space, to focus on more lifestyle rather than just the product benefit. And basically, we had to focus on change because when the world changes, you've got to look at your customers because they're changing with it. So the brand is now becoming more creative with that change over time.
Thanks, Emma. So we talked about 2020. That was the year of COVID. This is when consumers were not going into the office. You weren't going into school. And it gave you that real opportunity to experiment with your authenticity, yourself, your hair, your colour. And actually, we had such fantastic results for the brand that we moved to a #1 market share position ahead of all of our competitors because in COVID, people had the opportunity to really express themselves.
So Generation Colour was the first one that we did. So this was looking at a new casting approach. So we moved away from using models. We started to look at working with influencers. We chose a specific track as well called Women by Andrea Triana. So music was a really important shift for the brand as well. And then we went into phase 2. And that launched in 2020. So after the pandemic, we realised there's a lot of emotional stories connected with hair coloration. So this is the main focus of the next phase that we took it into. It was around customer insights, around breakups, we called it glow-ups and fresh starts. And again, working with influencers and taking it into a more authentic space. And then for year 2024, we have worked into basically a brand platform. So it's more than just a campaign idea. Looking at the insightful moments that we have from coloration, but moving into a brand platform, we'll come on to that a little bit later.
So you've seen our creative journey, but actually when you put it together and see the span of the last 5 years, you really see the evolution and the journey that we've been from. So here you've got a little mood reel to see from where we've gone from to where we are today. So I'm sure you'll agree, you can see there when you put it all together, we've really been on a journey. So why do we need to be brave? Why do we need to be bold as a brand? Well, first of all, the competitive landscape. We have seen new brands enter the colour category. We've seen established brands grow into this territory of colour. And we know that we need to be brave and bold in order to stand out from the crowd.
Next one is community and social influence. Obviously, community is key. Everyone's talking about it, but it's about harnessing like minds which gravitate to brands that are far more brave and bold. And then it's about tapping into micro-communities through whether that's attitude, style, hobbies, mindset, etc. And it's about listening to your customers, and it's making a response to that. It's a two-way conversation, not just a one-way dialogue. We also looked into culture for the brand, and this is all about looking at cultural shifts within the category, particularly for live with the hair coloration. It's around pushing boundaries, but also making sure that you stay relevant for your consumer. But it's also, particularly for live, it was around challenging the norm. So by pushing the boundaries, this is really resonating deeply, particularly with more like progressive customers that live has. We then look at trends. That's obviously a key thing, particularly in the hair care category. Timely relevance of using these are really, really key for the brand. It's around staying ahead, but it's also looking at what's happening today for the brand. And that's looking at hair trends, but also as well around communication trends for the brand. And it's about keeping, being adaptive and making sure that that's always happening.
And one of my favorites here is personal expression. So we live in a world now where there's a lot of pressure from the media, from social media, no matter your age, your demographic, your lifestyle and your background. And one of the things I'm really proud that Live do is it's a platform for personal expression to actually celebrate your uniqueness and be who you want to be. And that is the magic and the gift of the brand, but also what you can tap into by using the brand. And then lastly, product innovation. One of the things I'm really proud about with Live is we've really listened to our consumers. We've looked at innovating from a color perspective in terms of the shades we offer, from a format perspective, and even from the types of coloration levels. So permanent, semi-permanents, washout colors, toners, bleaches. We've evolved with what the consumer need is, but also what the trends are. So what did this actually mean for Live? A little stat for you here. Live's best-selling colours out of a range of 50 shades are black and red. And interestingly, there are over 160 shades of black and red that you can buy on the market today from all competitors across all different levels of coloration. So why are people choosing Live in that sea of competition?
So this got us thinking. So basically, we came to the conclusion that ultimately Live as a brand is like no other. We also look at their colour range. It's completely different to most of the other competitors out there. So again, it's like no other. And then we look at their customers, and some of them you're going to meet in a minute, and they are absolutely incredible. We describe them as like no other. So basically, this is a new brand platform that we created for the brand.
So we've got real consumers, real locations, real emotions, and real stories. So how did we get these real consumers in our ads?
So basically, we did an open casting on TikTok and Instagram. We were absolutely inundated, and it was a huge process to go through. But through it, we found how amazing all the customers were, how consistently creative, inspiring they were. And we basically did a casting in London, invited 75 of the shortlist down, and we whittled that down to 12 people that then featured in the campaign for this year.
So without further ado, I would love to introduce 3 of those cast members on stage today. So welcome Sheila, Shweta and Zed. All right, so we've got a couple of questions that we actually want to ask the cast. You've heard enough from us. Let's hear from them.
Okay, so starting off, I think basically, Twitter, what does the experience mean to you basically? How, as going from applying online to then seeing yourself on TV?
So before I start, I'm just going to apologise because I've got a close Glastonbury voice, so sorry. We can blame Dua Lipa on this one. But yeah, the whole experience from start to finish was something, it was a bit of a dream. My current, like my day job as a reconstructive surgeon is obviously a million miles away from this kind of thing. I'm not, in the creative industry at all, but as you say, I saw this advert on Instagram, and I had a little gap of about a couple of months between jobs at that point. So I thought, why not? It's going to be a bit of a laugh. We'll see what happens. And from then on in, I've just met the most wonderful people. I've experienced some things that I probably never will again. And of course, the hair stands for something completely new and diverse and unique. And I feel like, especially from like my industry as well, in the NHS, people can get bogged down so easily. People don't have things that they particularly relate to, and there's these archetypal stereotypes that have been here for years and years, as you know, a surgeon should look this way, a doctor should be this way, should dress this way, should do things that you know have been sort of I suppose listed in history as looking a certain way, but I was so happy to look different, to be different, to be unique. And even since the advert, I'd have to say, like, people are always interested in asking, they give you compliments, it's something that introduces rapport. And then, you know, to talk about this experience as well, it was a whirlwind, a total dream, as I said, from start to finish. From the casting, you know, I met a whole load of people, and I do often joke that in the casting room, you know, it looked like we all met in rehab, you know, it was that kind of thing. It was like a crazy amount of personalities and bubbling and, you know, a lot of a personality, I should say. And since meeting the cast members and everyone on the production team, I couldn't be more grateful and more thankful to meet you. And these two that are here today are two of the most wonderful people, and I'm sure we'll be friends forever. Sheila, honestly, she's my absolute inspiration. I hope to be as wonderful as she is one day. I can only aspire to do that. So.
Thank you. I can see the emotional journey you've been on, and it's amazing that you formed those relationships. So, Zed, what does colouring your hair mean to you and your identity?
So I grew up, you know, trying to figure myself out, figure out my identity, and as a queer person, I didn't really know how to express it. So when this open casting came along, like, I was like, wow, let me just shoot my shot and hope for the best. And it worked out. Like, now I'm here, I'm in a TV advert, who would have thought? I first dyed my hair back in lockdown, and the first brand I used was Schwarzkopf Live. Like, Live was the hair color that I was like, wow, this bright blue box in Boots, like, I want to buy that one and just dye my hair. Turned out horribly, because I had no clue what I was doing, but I took my time to learn about it, learn about how to dye my hair properly, and I did a bunch of weird colors, from blue to red to pink, purple, as you see now, green. I need to try still, but like, I will get there. But it means that I can express myself in a way that really shows my creativity, really shows who I am as a person, the bright, bubbly energy that I have inside. I can express it with the color in my hair. And whenever someone walks down and like they stare a little bit up and down, I'm like, yeah, my hair is purple, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like, it is something that pushes the boundaries of what we think is societally acceptable, and that's what we're here for. I think as young people as well now, and it's time to push. I will go to university. I worked in a university. Everyone dyes their hair. You know, at one point in their life, when they have a mental breakdown, they'll dye their hair. Like, it's fine. It's part of the journey, and it's so fun. It's so fun to do. And I think, yeah, it expresses the fun creativity that you have inside. Yeah.
Amazing. And last but no means least, Sheila. So I've got to ask, why pink?
Why not? Why not? As a more mature person, my hair was white. And as an old lady with white hair, everybody ignores you. So you can go through life being just somebody that you're not. So I decided a few years ago I wanted to change my colour. And we looked at colours, and I tried red, I tried the grey, and then I thought, no, pink. Pink's my colour. So I went pink, and here I am, pink. It's absolutely amazing, because people stop and talk to me. I'm in my scooter, and people will come up and they will talk to me, and they will ask me questions. I even had a car stop on the road as I was coming home from the hairdresser. And the car opened the window and they said, "I like your hair." And then another guy says, "Awesome hair." So I'm noticed. And I like to be noticed. I mean, you know, what's not to notice? Can I stop?
And you look amazing, honestly. I cannot express how amazing.
It just makes me so happy. And to be acknowledged as a person still. Although, okay, I'm 87, but who knows? It's just a number. But I like the way I am. And there I am.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining us. So I think basically that leads us to, we're going to share a montage of basically we did a 4-day shoot in Margate, which is where Bright Island's based. And we basically shot in Dreamland. We did a number of scenes. And this is just a montage of the digital shoot and obviously the TV that's out. I think it's starting again, running over the summer holidays. So here's all the best bits.
So thank you, everyone, for listening. A special thank you to our cast members that have joined us today. If you want to ask any questions, we'll be hovering around at the back after this session for about 20 minutes or so. But I really hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed the journey we've been on. We certainly have. And there's much more to come in the future. So watch this space for live.
Thank you.